I will call to order the Oxnard City Council Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee for November 23rd, 2021. And I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. If there are people that wish to provide public comments during the meeting but have not requested to do so, we do have an option for that. And in order to provide public comments without requesting to speak prior to the meeting, during the meeting, dial 888-475-4499 and enter the meeting ID and passcode as listed on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Public comments on items shall be taken following the announcement of the item after all public speakers have been given an opportunity to speak on the agenda item. The public comment period shall be held open for 3 minutes to allow additional speakers to register or otherwise be recognized for the purpose of providing public comment. During this 3-minute time period, the City Council or staff may discuss the item being considered and respond to previous comments. Thank you. With that, Madam Clerk, if you would do the roll call, please, and posting of the agenda, and Member Madrigal, if you'd be so kind to lead us in the flag salute, it would be greatly appreciated.
Member Zaragoza.
Here.
Member Madrigal.
Here.
Chair McDonald.
Here.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on Tuesday, November 16th at the Council Chambers kiosk. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand. Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Okay, thank you, member. We will now move to public comments on items not on the agenda. And this is the time and place where a person may address the legislative body only on matters not appearing on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of this committee. The legislative body or the committee cannot enter into detailed discussion or take action on any items presented during public comments at this time, and such items may only be referred to the city manager, executive director, or secretary for administrative action or scheduled on a subsequent hearing for discussion. Persons wishing to speak on public hearing items should do so at the time of that hearing. And Madam Clerk, I show one speaker for items not on the agenda, Mr. Walter Snyder.
Chair McDonald, Mr. Walter Snyder is not available at the moment and has not dialed in, but I'll go ahead and start the 3-minute clock in case we have any other members of the public who wish to dial in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And just a housekeeping item, I see that Mr. Snyder has listed to speak on item D2, report on police department's automated license plate readers, but that's item D1 if I'm correct. So. And while we're waiting, I guess we could play Glenn Miller's "In the Mood," which I mistakenly claimed was Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy at the last meeting. So I apologize for my error and not having the correct title for good music. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. That will take us to item C, consent agenda. And Madam Clerk, since there are no speakers listed, we will start the clock now for anyone that wishes to speak on this and call in while we go through the item. And the subject matter is approval of minutes. Are there any
Chair-
comments or additions to the minutes?
Chair McDonald,
Yes.
Mr. Snyder just dialed in. May I connect him for public comment?
Yes.
Thank you. One moment. Mr. Snyder, you have 3 minutes to speak.
Yes, my name is Walter Snyder, and I'm going to speak on several things on the housing and also the process complaint. I have filed several complaints with the city several years, and they have not processed my complaint. There have been some discrimination complaints, and there have been some other property illegal taking my car, towing my car away without just call or give me any type of warning. So I just found out that I think the party name is Dwayne. He's up on the fourth floor. I filed a complaint, and he sent it out to the department, and he's not keeping a copy there for the on the fourth floor. So once they send it to the department, most of the department do not, reply to it. So you have no history of the complaint, and the city manager and also the city attorney have no copy of the complaint. And this is why the Justice Department coming in, the people of Oxnard had filed a class complaint against the city of Oxnard. They're not processing their claim and also their complaint form, because someone told the guy named Dwayne, he told me that the city attorney told him don't keep a copy of it. So the city have not been keeping a copy of it, and the people of Oxnard are very angry because they file a document and the city is not processing. And the last mayor, Mr. Flynn, he told me that he won't take care of my car. The city of Oxnard, I park over there on Gibraltar, and some Mexican people called some of their friends at the Oxnard police department, and my car was only parked there for probably 2 or 3 hours because I had a problem with where I was living because somebody stole my catalytic converter and tailpipe, and I thought it would be safer to park on the street because by being a senior citizen, people would just come in. If they didn't have a specific part, they just take the part from your car.
40 seconds.
And I was just shocked that these complaints is not being resolved, and you need to tell the guy up on the fourth floor of the filing that he need to keep a copy of, how would the city manager and also the other party that the complaint is referred to, how would they have any history if he's not keeping a copy? So the city clerk should instruct the proper procedure. I like to get a copy of the procedure and policy reference to filing a complaint and also a claim. I like for y'all to leave a copy up there on the full floor for me on Monday. And
Your
this
time
not
is up,
right.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. We're unable to engage in discussion on this because it's not agendized, but staff has heard your comments and they will follow up as appropriate. And Madam Clerk, are we still in the 3-minute cycle for consent agenda, or have we finished that?
We are finished, and there is no further public comment. Thank you, Chair McDonald.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What's the pleasure of the committee for the agenda item, or for info consent rather?
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Hi, Madam Clerk, we have a motion by Mayor Zaragoza and a second by Member Madrigal. If you could do a roll call, please.
Member Zaragoza,
Aye.
Member Madrigal,
Aye.
Chair McDonald.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, thank you. That will take us to item D1, the police department report on police department's automated license plate reader. There was a previously recorded discussion on this item pursuant to Measure M. So we won't be redoing that discussion tonight. We'll be taking member or public comments first from Mr. Snyder, and then the committee will discuss that. So Madam Clerk, if we can get Mr. Snyder back in, and then once he's done speaking, we will start the 3-minute clock for people that wish to call in and make comments.
Yes, my name is Walter Snyder, and I think it's a very good idea that you have a plate reader, because I had a car accident on my birthday, December the 8th, and the Mexican police wrote the tag number. It's right, I have a photograph of my tag number, and he wrote the wrong tag number. It appeared that the tag he wrote was in some type of incident or accident. So he can't solve a problem, so he tried to dump this tag number on me. And not only that, when I went to the hospital up there, he came up there. I didn't know he was recording that he had an audio tape, and he didn't give me any notice that he was recording. And I told him I would get back with him, and he kept harassing me, saying that I told him I would have been injured by the car. I told him I would give him a report.
Mr. Snyder, I'm going to stop you here. This is an license plate reading system.
Okay, let me talk about the plate. The
Mr.
reader.
Snyder, you need to talk the agendized.
Okay, I will talk about the plate. Okay, I think it's a good reading. All I would like to ask, are you going to use camera, or are you going to use infrared detector? What type of technology you're going to be using to read the plate? Do you know right now, or are you just looking into the field? Because the camera is one technique, and then they have another technique called pattern recognition. They use laser that scan, vertical or horizontal, and then that image will be put back into a mechanism that you'll be able to read. But have y'all decided what technology y'all going to be using?
Mr. Snyder, ask all your questions now. We'll have staff respond to all of them when you're completed.
Okay, well, I think it's a great idea, because you take the human and also the racist factor from the report by you actually having an electronic that is partial toward the person, and I think that's a wonderful idea, because this is just an example. You can look at the report December 8th, and then I'll bring a copy there and show you that
40 seconds.
the plate was very obvious. You could see I had a plate in the front, and California in the front and back, and you cannot make a mistake. You don't write up a report, and you cannot even put the right plate number. So y'all doing a wonderful job with this idea. Whoever did it, you need to give him a promotion, okay? I appreciate that. That's a great thing y'all doing, okay? Y'all have a nice holiday. Bye-bye. God bless all y'all. Y'all on the right track now.
Thank you,
my
Mr. Snyder. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you very much, Chief Schedinger. Do you have a response to his question, or do you know the information?
Yes, I do. The systems are actually a camera. They're not an infrared system.
Thank you very much. And Madam Clerk, we've started the 3-minute clock for anyone that wishes to call in, correct?
Yes, the clock has just started for 3 minutes in case we have any additional callers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will open it to the committee to make comments. Mayor, do you have any comments regarding this item?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. One of the things that I like about this agenda item is protecting protecting privacy, which I think is important. You know, it talks about not for facial recognition software. It's not used for immigration enforcement, not used for traffic enforcement. End-to-end encryption of data. No personal ID information is contained, and it's not connected to the registration data or third-party database, the Carfax DMV. So that really, I know there's been a lot of concerns about that, but this is really protecting the privacy of our residents. And I want to thank the chief and his staff and assistant chief for putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Member Madrigal, any comments?
No questions, Mayor. No questions, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will concur with the mayor's comments that, you know, every so often I hear people talk about invasion of privacy, but we have to remember that these cameras are located in public places, on public roadways, and that there really is not a lot of expectation, if any expectation of privacy while you're driving down a public street on a public thoroughfare. So, and as the mayor said, there is no tie into information systems where somebody shouldn't have this information. So I think it's a very good tool to augment our police department and their efforts. So I personally agree with this program. And Madam Clerk, how much longer do we have on the 3-minute clock?
57 seconds.
Okay. I will sit here and look pretty for the next 50 seconds, then we'll go from there.
And with no additional music from the city manager.
By the time he gets it started, it'll be too late.
And then we can look at the mayor pro tem all night.
Time is up.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The request here is that the committee receive a report on the police department's automated license plate reader ALPR program. And next, that the committee recommend that the city council receive and file a report on the police department's ALPR program. What is the pleasure of the committee?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the item.
Okay, and I'll second that motion. Madam Clerk, if we can have a roll call, please.
Chair McDonald,
Aye.
Member Madrigal,
Aye.
Member Zaragoza.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you all. That takes us to item D2, the fire department. The subject is the formal adoption of the 2021 City of Oxnard Emergency Operations Plan, also known as the EOP, which is an update. There was a presentation done pursuant to Measure M. We will not go through that presentation again. We will simply discuss it. And the recommendation is that the Community Services Public Safety Committee and Housing and Development Committee recommends that the City Council approve a resolution adopting the 2021 Emergency Operations Plan EOP update and authorize the mayor to sign the letter of promulgation. And Madam Clerk, I don't show any speakers, so we will open the floor up to any call-in people on the 3-minute clock while the committee discusses this item. So are there any questions for the presenters or any additional comments? I'll start with council member or member Madrigal.
No comments, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Zaragoza, any comments?
Yes, I think that EOP plan requirements are really important that we follow those requirements. And I'm sure is required by the state of California and also by the feds for the emergency management system. And the second bullet point, I think that's really important to ensure that Oxnard is eligible to receive state and federal funding in response to emergencies. And we've had quite a few emergencies with fires and other emergencies. And hopefully, I don't want to speak about the most major emergency potentially that might happen to us, but I think it's important that we update that. And of course, in my understanding, that last time that there was this update, it was in 2017, and potentially we have the responsibility is to go ahead and approve this item, this EOP plan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And I think this is probably timely. I don't know about the rest of you, but my house just shook pretty good. And I think we just had an earthquake, but I'm not positive. Mr. Brewer, any input on that?
I'm looking at my earthquake app and I don't have anything currently. It doesn't mean we won't get a report momentarily, but not anything currently.
Okay, well, we'll just deal with it. I want to remind people that this is a program that's been in place for many, many years. This is just the annual required update. And Chief, it looks like you have the Movember mustache going, but I can't quite tell for sure.
You would be correct, Mayor Pro Tem. I am battling through, I don't know how you do it day in, day out, I've got to say, Mayor Pro Tem McDonald, because I'm struggling with this bad boy. I only have 10 days to go.
You're too young.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but my wife has never seen me without a mustache. I think if I shaved it off, she'd probably hurt me when I came in the house.
Mayor Pro Tem, if it's okay, I'd just like to very briefly recognize someone that did a lot of work in putting together this emergency operations plan, just while we've got a little bit of time left in the countdown clock. But Deja Cavalli, she was a US Navy Master at Arms. We actually took her on as an internship through the Department of Defense Skills Bridge program that sort of allows military folks that are transitioning into civilian life. She did a phenomenal job in helping Scott Brewer out in putting this emergency operations plan together. And so, I realized after I put together the staff report and the measure and video that I didn't actually recognize her. So I wanted to take a second to just recognize her efforts in this.
Thank you very much. Does she happen to have a name or?
Deja Cavalli is her name. And I believe, I don't know if she called in tonight, but certainly I believe she was going to call in at the full council meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you for giving recognition where it appears the recognition was due. And not to discount Mr. Brewer, he also does an excellent job too. So thank you all. The 3-minute time limit is over. Madam Clerk, we have no callers on this.
That is correct. The 3 minutes are up and there are no additional public comments.
Thank you. What's the pleasure of the committee?
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we have a motion by the mayor, second by member Madrigal. Roll call, please.
Member Madrigal,
Aye.
Member Zaragoza,
Aye.
Chair McDonald.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. That takes us to item number 3, the fire department, which is authorization to submit 7 grant applications to Federal Emergency Management Association, or agency rather, also known as FEMA, Assistance to Firefighters Grant, sometimes referred to as AFG, for $1,997,686 for the purchase of, or for the purpose of purchasing an aerial apparatus, more commonly called a ladder truck, a medical squad, tactical emergency medical services training, TEMS, wildland gear, extractors, battery operated extrication equipment, and thermal imaging cameras. This grant would require a matching requirement of up to $180,000 $180,819. And the recommendation is that the Community Services, Public Safety, Housing and Development Committee recommend the City Council adopt a resolution to, one, that allows the submission of 7 grant applications to FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant for the amount of $199,836, which would include a 10% local match from the city for the purpose of purchasing an aerial apparatus, medic squad, extractors, battery operated extrication equipment, thermal imaging cameras, wildland gear, and tactical emergency medical service, also called TEMS training. And 2, that authorizes the city manager or designee to execute the grant agreement if grant funds are awarded to the city. And 3, that authorizes the chief financial officer or designee to submit financial reports and grant claims for the use of match and grant funds and perform all other required financial actions. And 4, that authorizes the fire chief or designee to submit non-financial reports. And there was a pre-recorded presentation pursuant to Measure M available on the channel's YouTube channel, or the city's YouTube channel. And Madam Clerk, if we can start the 3-minute clock while the committee discusses this, I would appreciate it for any call-in speakers. And at this time, I'll open it up to the committee for any discussion or comments. Mayor?
Yes, thank you so much. I think this is excellent. You know, we're looking at 1.9 million, almost $2 million with a 10% matching. I think it's outstanding. One of the things that I think is extremely important is that we have the ladder truck. You know, we have, I can't remember how many stories we have over at the Esplanade. You know, what is about 18 stories? I can't remember how many, but potentially hope that we never have to use it, but at least we have a ladder truck that I think reaches probably, I can't remember, Chief, maybe 7 floors or so, but I think it's about 7 floors, right?
Yep.
And also, you know, of course, you know, one of the things that's the imaging cameras, I think, are really important for the wildland gear, and of course, we have some other training equipment that we need. So I think that's really, really great funding, and we only have to put up 10%. So good work by our fire department and our firefighters, and you're always out there fighting fires, you know, and other areas and so forth. And I hope we don't have another year like we did with the Thomas fire and those other fires too, that they were really, really horrible. And they talk about Oxnard doesn't have any fires, but we had a lot of smoke every morning after the Thomas fire. Those fires we had, my car was, you thought it had snowed. We had so much ash, you know, and those things are but anyway, I think it's important. I'm really happy that they were looking at those 7 grant applications. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Madrigal, any comments?
No comments on this item.
Chair, our city manager has his hand up.
I should say no, but yes, Mr. Nguyen?
You cannot say no. Very, very quickly, on my version of the agenda, there's a typo between the subject and the recommendation in terms of the actual amount. So in the recommendation, it's 1,999,836, and in the subject, it's 1,997,686. I just want to clarify the correct amount
Okay.
for the record here, since you're voting on it.
And the correct amount would be the 1,999,836, correct? The greater of the 2 numbers.
I believe so. I'm looking to the chief.
That is
not-
correct. That is the high number.
Okay.
Is the correct.
So
Minor
When a
typo.
motion is made, we will amend it to include the appropriate number then, so.
so Mr. Chair, it's not the 86, it's a 36.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
1,999,836, including a 10% local match would be the appropriate number for a motion. And so, Chief, thank you for bringing this forward. I can see where some people might say, well, wait a minute, why are you buying wildland gear? Because Oxnard's a metropolitan area. You don't have any wildland, but people probably or may not realize that a lot of times under mutual aid, our folks are in the mountains in all kinds of places that involve wildland fires.
That's right.
So it's very important to have this equipment for our crews when they go to assist other agencies and other locales. So, you know, I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're keeping up on the newness of the equipment. The stuff does have an age limit. And the only other thing I would comment is I know that the movement is towards battery operated rescue equipment. And that's great. I don't disagree with that. I think it's a good way to go, but I would hope that we would keep some sort of gas operated system in backup in case the battery operated systems fail. And I know that CARB is trying to get us to reduce emissions as much as possible, but we should have something available. And I see the Chief Knight has said, yes, that sounds like we've taken that into consideration. Is that correct, Chief?
Yeah, and your point is well taken, Mayor Pro Tem. It is something that we absolutely want to have the ability for both. We've been a bit gun shy about the battery operated tools, waiting for the technology to catch up. But certainly, it's another thing, another arrow that we can add to our quiver, if I could, because it does give us a little bit more flexibility, but we'll still maintain hydraulically powered tools as well, because I think we really do need both options.
Okay, thank you, Chief. With that, I would move the item with the amendment of the dollar figure being $1,999,836, including a 10% local match for the purpose of purchasing this equipment. So that will be my motion, plus the other recommendations.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we have a second by Councilmember Madrigal. Roll call, please.
Member Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair McDonald,
Yes.
Member Madrigal.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. And that finishes our business portion of the agenda. Do any of the committee members have items for future agendas?
No, I don't.
I do not either.
Okay, there are no motions for future or items for future agendas. With that, we will stand adjourned. Thank you all for your work, and have a happy and safe Thanksgiving for each of you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, committee members. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all.